Hi, welcome to the square corner using fixing stitches, also very similar to turning stitches. I've just got to finish off this bar first, which I've been experimenting with different twists to see which work best, and I found that 5 give me the best. 5 twists out, 5 twists back give me the best tension to actually keep all the stitches in the middle. That was a 4. You can see that they're slightly coming apart. That was a 5 again, but I didn't put the pin in this. I put the pin too far over to one side, so that's something to remember. This is just a practice piece, so I've done everything differently on each section just so that I can see what the effect is on an actual piece. So I'll pull my loop through of my worker, the nearest to the hoop, and keeping the thread on the worker, I slide the thread up to this wider bit, which gives me, with these handy Idrija bobbins, the space just to poke it through, so I don't actually need to use my fingers and touch the thread at all. I can feed it through and still keeping the thread on the crochet hook, let it down from the top so that there's no risk of it actually catching on any pins, which should all be pushed down, but there are always a few that are still up. Put my remaining 5 twists on because I've done 5 going in and 5 going out to make sure that they're even, and in tensioning, making sure that one bobbin isn't tensioned more than the other, which can pull it the centre down like that. You need to make sure that it's actually tensioned. There you go. And I just have to work through the 4 passives that are left. Well, there are only 4 passives. So used to doing bigger laces that I forget myself. Right, I've reached a corner. Now, if you've watched the pointed corner video, you know that you have to do something at the inside and you have to do something different at the outside. And at the inside, we're going to swap workers by using the last passive and the worker that you've just gone through. Put your pin in. Now in the corner you'll see that there isn't a pinhole, but you're going to put it just inside where the pinhole would be if you thought there was one. So I'll just put it slightly inside. So now I've got the worker that was put to one side and the passive that has come down, which is going to go around and be the new worker, but I'm going to put a twist on that first. We like the twist around the pin there because it gives us a better hole to sew into. So I put my twist on, I'm going through the passives, remembering to tension down because you're now tensioning with a passive, not a worker. Now I've got to the corner, I've gone through with a cloth stitch, I'm going to effectively put on another cross twist. So if I undo that, this is the 5 movement fixing stitch, cross, twist, cross, twist, cross. So it's a normal cloth stitch followed by another couple of movements. So you've got your pins out, your threads open, no twists on. Put your 2 twists on your worker, put your pin in, leaning slightly outwards diagonally, because you're now going to turn the pillow. So we are now working and move the pillow back into the camera. There we go. Here we go. Hopefully it will come into focus. There we go. Everybody's still in the right place. This is my separated worker looking slightly abandoned, separated from the rest of the passives, and now because I've come round a twist, I'm going to put on the 5 movements again, cross, twist, cross, twist, cross. The pairs are open when you finish with that. Make sure that you do snuggle them up to the pin because you've actually swapped pairs to go around the pin and now you've put them back together again. Okay, so I'm okay to go back with this worker. I've done my 2 passives that stay the same, and now I've come to the temporary pin that I put just inside the corner, and I need to sew this worker pair into there. So I'll remove that pin, put my crochet hook, can you see that little hole just there? That's the handy hole that one twist has left for you, so you can get your crochet hook in, the nearest one to the hole, take that and pull it through, take the other worker and just feed it through however you choose to do it. Put this worker back in the same position as it was before. Let the thread down, make sure you have your tension. Now this pair is actually tensioning all the way back to the pin. So if you end up with a big loop around the pin when you've finished, question what your tensions are. You can tension your pair that you helped to make the fixing stitch with, and you can tension this one to make sure that the loop hasn't come all the way down. So this is now going to rest. So if you don't tension now, this becomes a passive and there's no tensioning to grab hold of. This worker that you left is the worker that's actually made, I don't know if you can see, just watch this thread here. This is one that's actually come through. It's that worker. The last time you used it was you made that bar and worked through the passives, and now you're picking it up again. So let's work through, make sure there's no twist on. No, there wasn't a twist on. Work through these 3 passives here, and we can bring this one down and work through this passive here. Put my 2 twists on to make that centre, sorry, just off centre, outside, double twist, turn there. I have to make sure all my passives, whatever their job has been, are tensioned, and work back through. A good time at this point to make sure that all your threads are the same length. A nice bit of easy stitch here, just backwards and forwards. Easy 2 twist round your pin. Go back again, don't forget to tension things while you're going along. You can put your pin in first and then put your work around it and add the twists then. This is just muscle memory for me, having made so much Bedfordshire and everything. I put the twists on first and then I go around the pin. Now I'm back into another corner here. This corner here doesn't have a pin. I'll give you a bit of a zoom in here. I don't know how close you're going to be able to watch this. There is no pin in the corner there. So what I'm aiming to do is I'm aiming to go not on the corner but just inside it. There. If I push down these other pairs, sorry, pins, I'm getting all my words wrong today, you can see that in this corner it looks like it's got a curve like the other ones. It has like a little curve on the inside. That's because this worker that we tensioned before comes across through there and just turns that corner and then comes back to this pin. So it's actually making a curve there. So we've got to this point. We need the last passive and the worker, and we need to put that pin in that imaginary hole there. This is a temporary pin. If you need to use a different colour or something to remind you, this is the time to do it. That is a temporary pin, and that's where you need to do the sewing. So because it's a temporary pin to do sewing, this is the hole that your crochet hook is going to go through. So we'll give it a twist, which will give the crochet hook that little bit of extra space, and come back again. And when I reach the last passive, because I'm now on this corner pin, I'm going to do the 5 movement fixing stitch, and this fixes the threads on each side of the pin so that it doesn't drag away from the pin. Cross, twist, don't drop it. Hang on, let me cancel that, let me find my other pair, my other pin. Oh dear. There we go. Right, this pair. Cross, twist, cross, twist, cross. There we go, there's the 5 movements. And what I notice is that my pairs are no longer the same length, because one bobbin is on this, the other bobbin is on this, so they've swapped pairs between the two, swapped bobbins between the 2 pairs, and they will go back again. If you were using colours, this is where your colours would mix. So I've got my 2 twists on the outer one, I'll put my pin in there. And I will turn the pillow at this point. Snuggle it down again. Here we go. And I am now coming downhill. So these are the passives that go that way, but before I can finish going around the pin, just rearrange my bobbin. It's a bit chatty this morning. These have had a fixing stitch, this has had 2 twists and it's come round here. This is the waiting passive, and with the first waiting passive, I'm going to do that turning stitch again. Cross, twist, cross, twist, cross. And when you tension, make sure that you tension towards the pin. If you drag it away from the pin like this, you can see that the loop is already starting to grow. And what you're wanting to do is use this fixing stitch to actually fix up there. Okay, so that's my passive that's been worked through. The 2 pairs have now got their matching bobbins back, not that you can see, but I'll go through these. I don't go through this one because I've got a temporary pin here, so that's the edge, that's the back row, this is the temporary pin, and you can see again, just in front of this pair coming out, that there is an easy to grab. There may be another use for that, I don't know, but it is very handy. So I'm just, without any twists, I'm just going to grab that first thread, slide the thread up to that little wider bit on the crochet hook, and I'm going to just pop the Idrija bobbin through, tail first, and with my thread still on the crochet hook, using the other bobbin, I'm just going to let it down into place and let it go. Tension that, because this is your last chance to tension on this one. This is the one that's actually going around the pin, combining with that other passive. And now I can use this pair again, which has come straight from this pin. It's the work that's come straight from this pin, and it will go straight across and start going into this bar here. So here we go. This passive, you can just about see that it is actually going up this way, whereas this worker has come, it's starting to slide and make that corner there. That's where it's coming from. Go through the passives. Tension, make sure everything's nice, your passives are all nice and tensioned, and you'll see that there isn't a big loop there because the fixing stitches have held it up. Like here, you can see it has got a point, but the fixing stitches have kept it neat. And you've got that little curve just inside. So this worker pair now goes straight onto 3, 4, 5, straight onto this bar. So I find the centre. The centre is also handy marked here, and you just go up, if you can't judge it yourself, and just ever such a little breath to one side, only the tiniest fraction. That's my 5, put my other 5 on to come back down. That's just the way I do it. I don't know if you meant to put 10 on and then let it find its own space, but on the other side you've got to do 5 before the pin and 5 after the pin where you crochet. So I've got into the habit of doing 5 at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and again I'm into the next bar here to sew in. So there you go, square corner and bars and chat. Bye for now.